Yo. I don't need my hood up anymore. I hadn't seen myself on camera yet. There we go. Now I look beautiful. Isn't that cool? Hey, what's up? Whoa. Clear your throat, then do the show, dummy. It's Riter Radio. It's episode 260 episodes of this show. First on the radio, and then live streaming on audio only, and now on YouTube primarily, but available on Spotify. Reminder to subscribe. Don't just watch or listen or whatever. Subscribe, please. Hit the bell notification thing. And even if you're more a YouTube person than a Spotify person, or vice versa, please subscribe to both. It's just helpful. The more people there are, the more people will be presented with the option of the show, and the more we'll catch in the massive net that is here to haul in everyone. Today is going to be interesting. Not that I wouldn't start the show if I thought that it was going to be uninteresting. But the point is, we're going to try something very exciting. In addition to Scott Wilson being on the show, which is exciting, but we're used to that. We're used to Scott. I'm going to try. This always goes well when I try out new technology, but I've got a new idea. See, I've got this group of friends who we've known each other since college, and we get together every August in Saratoga or the Saratoga area for our fantasy football draft. But it's not just about the draft. It's about, it's a big league. We've got 15 guys in it. 15 guys in it with 14 teams. So every year, somebody finishes in last place. They don't get to play the next year. They still have to come to the draft. They have to run the auction draft. But there's relegation, basically. You get booted from the league if you finish in last place, and then you have to run the draft. And honestly, it's fine. Like I've been that person twice, I think. Why is this? Seems like the audio like too loud and screwy because it's all red on my screen today. Maybe I don't know if I have the mic up too high. 1, 2, 3. See, it's scaring me. Oh, you know what I could do? I could pull it down here. Let me know if the audio sounds too loud, like it's making weird clipping noises at the top when I'm at my loudest. But if I whisper like this, it doesn't turn red. But as soon as I talk, it's red, and that's not normal. It doesn't usually do that. So I'm going to assume things are fine unless people in the chat tell me that they're not fine, and then we'll adjust. So here I am talking about using new technology and then struggling again with my current. It's all right. The only thing I hate about always, I want to keep you in the loop. I want to be straightforward. I want you to feel like you are connected to an honest person. Audio feels bassier, if that makes sense. Not super noticeable, though. No clipping. Okay, we'll take it. It's distracting to me that the light keeps turning red. Maybe I will, I can pull this down a little bit. Does that do anything? No, that's nothing. What is this here for? What about that? That's too quiet. Bring it up to there. All right, let's go right there. That seems better. Okay. So I got this group of friends. We have our fantasy football league. And generally speaking, now that we're all old, I get together with these guys once a year. There are 3 that are in Buffalo, 3 of the group that are in Buffalo, and I see them far more often. Ray Walter is one of them. He comes on the show. He's our senior legal correspondent, and I don't expect to see him in the chat today because he is standing on a lake ice fishing in Ballston. It's Ballston Lake. I don't know if the town is Ballston Spa, whatever it is. It's the Saratoga area. It's where we go. My buddy who hosts the draft every year, Matt, we'll call him H, we'll probably see him on screen today, they moved just right down the street from where we always went, but they moved just this past year to a spot right on the lake. And these guys have gotten together to do this ice fishing thing a few times. But it seems like it's a bigger event this year with the house being right on the lake. It scares off fewer people because I'll tell you right now, ice and fishing, neither one of those sounds good to me. And you combining them, hanging out with friends sounds good. I've been told it's more about camaraderie and drinking whiskey on a lake. And I get that. So, anyway, the point is, now that I'm doing the show and now that the show is on video, it would be one thing if I just had, say, Ben call in and talk about their ice fishing adventure. You may know Ben from his appearances as our senior rugby correspondent on Riter Radio. Ray Walter just checked in from the lake in the chat. We're on the ice. Fishing has not started. All right, so the overall point here is we're trying new technology that will allow us to go live to Ballston Lake, where my friends are presumably bundled up, probably not yet liquored up, but I would imagine, despite it being ice cold out there, coolers play a major role in ice fishing. So we're going to learn all about ice fishing together at some point once they're connected. Ray says we're on the ice. Fishing has not started. But I tested out this technology today, and it's not perfect, but it should be okay since there's a group of them and we can use multiple phones. So what's going to end up happening, what we're going to try at some point, once I get the word from afar, from our remote broadcast location on Ballston Lake, we're going to try it. We'll try to have one person with a phone that is sending us video, acting as the cameraman for whoever else is talking on the phone through my phone, through this device, out to you. What could go wrong? One-man show, always complains about technology failing. Why not try 6 new things? Sure. So we're going to try that at some point. Between now and when I get the word that they're ready to do, this might last a minute and a half and it might last half an hour. I have no idea. We'll see. But I have fun friends who are doing fun things, and I think we'll look spectacular on the show. Like ice fishing live on Riter Radio is a first. Well, it's not yet, but it will be when we do it. Coming up at some point soon. NFL awards last night. Yes, I did tune in just to root against the Patriots. I couldn't believe I sat through the vast majority of it. I wasn't home for the first half hour, but I watched from there through the end. I think Myles Garrett had already won, but that was it, really. And I watched from there on. I thought the show was weird and clunky and kind of proof that while the NFL thinks it's running the world, and it kind of is running the world, you're still not Hollywood. Like, there were things that just did not work. For example, and I'm going to assume some people watched it anyway, but, they tried to treat it, they're trying to be the ESPYs. The ESPYs are put on by, they have NFL Network, so it's not like these aren't broadcast professionals, but there was something really uncomfortable about the vast majority of the things that they were doing. Roger Goodell posing as a DJ and then playing like an NFL song was weird. He had a big gold rope on. It was bizarre. I don't know. It was just, it had a major like yick factor. Yick. I guess yick is not a word. It's yuck and ick, and I combine them into yick. But you get what I mean. It was just, everything was just a little off. Something else I didn't like, I kind of wanted to see things revealed to me as they were being revealed to the players. And very early on, it became apparent that the people in the room knew who was going to win the stuff. Maybe not everyone knew everything, but the winners certainly knew they were going to win. And if the winners knew they were going to win, then that means all the information you've been hearing for the past couple of weeks, as we're talking about awards, as we're talking about Hall of Fame inductions or elections. It's not preordained, but the information's been out there, and it felt like I was watching a show live on tape. Like it already happened. It's preordained. There aren't any surprises, and it takes something away from the enjoyment level. AC Man says Josh Allen knew last year beforehand as well. Fine, but I'm just saying it takes away from. I'm watching something live. I want it to be live. The fact that they'll hand a tablet to Drewski, well, that was uncomfortable too. Didn't do a real bang up job of presenting Offensive Player of the Year to JSN. That got a little dicey. They let it go. That was cool, but I haven't read any reviews of that broadcast this morning because I don't feel like I need to, but I would imagine there are some somewhat controversial moments coming out of it, considering how buttoned up the NFL tries to be. And I feel like it got away from them a little bit last night. So for something that felt super scripted, super almost fake, I think they still stepped in it a little bit. I don't care. I don't mind. Say what you want. Do what you want. Try to make jokes. But some of the jokes were just like Jeff Ross, who generally is kind of funny. But they had this really dragged out skit that felt like it took 7 minutes. It was probably 3, but it felt like forever, where he came out and he was a Browns backup or a practice squad quarterback, and he's 60 years old, and this is how terrible the Browns. It was just like it was awful. And it would have been awful if it was a minute and a half long, but tolerable. But then it just dragged and dragged and dragged, and that kind of set the tone. From there on out, I was just uncomfortable with the whole show. The Hall of Fame class, Drew Brees, obviously. Larry Fitzgerald, obviously. Luke Kuechly, I never think about him just because his career was so short, but he was very, very highly regarded during his brief NFL career. So cool there. Roger Craig gets in as the group of 5, the thing we have been talking about forever, ever since it was forever, for 2 weeks, whatever, since we started learning that Belichick was not going to get in. And then it was, well, Kraft's not going to get in. So now, it's founders, or not founders, builders? What do they call it? There's a word for it. Contributor, let's just say. That's the category Kraft was in. And coaching is the category, obviously, Belichick was in. And then they had 3 veteran players. And the voters got to choose 3 of the 5. You couldn't vote for all of them. You couldn't vote for 2 of them. Well, maybe you could. Maybe it was a max 3. Either way, we knew Belichick wasn't getting in. We knew Kraft wasn't getting in. So then it was how many? Between 0 and 3, or maybe between 1 and 3 of the players would get in. It ended up being 1. That's Roger Craig, which I'm okay with. Any of the veterans. I was very young when I watched Ken Anderson play, and I did see him play in a Super Bowl. But, to me, that didn't in any way remotely resemble a Hall of Fame football player. And I've not even looked up what his statistics were. I know I saw the old version of him, so maybe I'm not the right person to judge. Elsie Greenwood, same thing. Like I've known that name my entire life, but I don't have any real opinion on him. Roger Craig was this super important piece of the first dominant team that I witnessed as a fan of the league. And so in my mind, but it's like my 10-year-old mind, Roger Craig is a Hall of Famer. And he got in, and good for him. That's cool. I don't hear, again, I haven't read any reviews, but I don't think there's going to be a massive backlash. Oh my God, how can you let Roger Craig into the Hall of Fame? So I think they got it right. They didn't overdo it. 5 in, 4 of them real players, 1 of them a kicker, Adam Vinatieri, who admittedly, I felt like I was watching Hall of Famer for most of Vinatieri's career. And that's all the time with New England. And then Indy, too. I mean, he was an absolute stud, absolute clutch moment from distance, whatever it was, in the snow, all of it. And we put kickers in. It's not like that guy can punt. I believe there's still one. Ray Guy is in the Hall of Fame, right? Not suddenly I'm questioning myself. Like, there's one punter. I'm watching it with my wife and one of my kids. And I was like, oh, he's only the second kicker to get it. No, wait, that's not right. It's punter. I think there's one punter. Ray Guy. Just want to make sure. I need to know this now. I'm like almost positive. Yeah, he's in both the College and Pro Football Hall of Fame. 8-time All-Pro, widely considered to be the greatest punter of all time. He was the first pure punter to be honored. Yeah, like people, Blandup, I'm sure, punted, right? But anyway, I'm no beef with that. I think it's interesting, weird, and kind of cool, actually, that Vinatieri is in before the coach or the owner. Like that, there was so much talk about them leading up to this, and he gets in. I guess it's safe because how would a kicker cheat? Like, if you wanted to, like there was no kick gate because I don't know how there could be. The field goal kicker is such a detached part of the team. I remember this from training camp when I used to, the Bills used to have training camp at Fredonia, and we'd be down there for like a full 2 weeks just hanging out, living in a trailer. Not living, but living during the day in a trailer and then going to a hotel at night. But you could see the comings and goings of the players. And it'd be like, all right, this whole group, the whole defensive line is going to this area for a meeting. And then this is, at night. So they have their practices, and then now it's 6 o'clock. And there's no more practice, but there are meetings that are going all the time. And you'd see, like, the D linemen are going here, and the linebackers are going here, and the receivers are going there, and the quarterbacks are going there, and the tight ends are going there, O-line's going there, and then the DBs are doing this thing over here. And then you'd see like Steve Christie and Chris Moore hopping on bicycles to go to Blockbuster to rent movies. Like, yeah, we're done for the day. I mean, you can only kick so many times. You can only punt so many times. We don't need to be I don't need a class. I don't need to talk about, I'm sure there are, special teams meetings. I'm not trying to discount what they do, but it's just such a different thing. So every time, it's like, oh, hey, Steve, another Blockbuster night? I'm like, yeah, that's what we do. We rent movies. So the kicker and punter just hang out together, and they were firmly established. They weren't going to, there weren't even people there challenging them. It's just like, no, he's the kicker, he's the punter. They don't have anything to do tonight, so they're gonna rent movies. And then to be like, good job, you're the best at renting movies, you're in the Hall of Fame. It's a little weird, but it's a lot of points too. Those kicker points really add up. You look at all-time NFL leaders, it's kickers, man. Aside from the superstars, you're getting more points. Like any one player in the course of a year on a team, usually the leading scorer is the kicker. I don't know. I haven't researched this, but I know even as a kid, I thought it was crazy. I thought fantasy football would never work. As a kid, I had, I wonder if I could find it. Guy Mike that I was friends with in junior high. I was a surprise, I was a sports nerd. Like, I played sports, but I also liked statistics and charts and graphs and that kind of stuff. Even in elementary school, junior high, very into baseball, but I was very into baseball. I was into Stratomatic baseball, like keeping score, on paper while, rolling dice and looking at cards and coming up with outcomes and setting lineups and all that kind of stuff. Everything that has led to me being a mediocre Little League manager / coach. It all started back then when I was playing Little League. I liked the numbers. I liked the stats. There was a year when my dad coached the team, and I had like graph paper, and I was doing all the stats for our team. I still remember that one kid had no hits. I know exactly who he was. I see him sometimes. It's the first thing I think of. Like, you couldn't hit a baseball. Dude's got a great job. He's like very successful. But he's always in my head going to be the guy who got no hits the entire Little League season. How do you do that? How do you go a whole season without hitting the ball? How do you come back the next year? All right, let's just keep trying. He didn't hit once. And I don't think he put one in play. So he's not in the Hall of Fame. But Vinatieri is. And, so Mike, my friend Mike, we did rotisserie baseball, which is like fantasy baseball, but it was just a different. No, I take that back. We did not do rotisserie. That was a separate league. We did just a whole different thing. You had to set lineups, and then like your pitching rotation. It was based off of what the players did that week, sort of, but it was plugged into a game, so you got an actual score. It was really bizarre. And it was pre-internet, so you would mail your lineups in, and then you'd get the results in the mail. It was very exciting. The most exciting mail I've ever received, aside from maybe the, Columbia House and BMG CDs that would just come in boxes, or the records in the first iteration of it. But getting that envelope packed with fake stats from fake games played by real players but not really being played for you. It was bizarre. But it made sense because it was baseball, and baseball is so numbers-based and individual-based. I remember, and honestly, I don't remember. My friend, who was my friend then, and I see once in a while, but like we're not regularly in touch, reached out to me to say that I ruined, he was like in on the ground floor of fantasy football, and I said it'll never work. This is, I was 12. But I said it would never work because Kevin Butler was more valuable than Walter Payton. Kevin Butler being the kicker for the Bears. He scores more. I didn't think of the part where you'd like get points for yards or points for receptions or things like that. I just thought points because that was really the only thing at that time that meant anything in football was how many points you're scoring. So I was way off on that one. Fair to say I was way off on that. I had a friend who, not that we had the money to invest in it, but he was ready to like lock into fantasy football. And I was like, dude, that's terrible. It's stupid. Who's going to care about fantasy football when the kicker is more valuable? Well, Adam Vinatieri has proven me wrong and has taken that spot. All right, I'm going to go in the chat real quick, and then I got to check my phone because I'm waiting to hear from the boys out on Ballston Lake, which is, in fact, frozen. All right, the chat. What radio station was the show on originally? Well, I was calling it Riter Radio, but I wasn't counting the episodes. And then I did 100 episodes on WLVL in Lockport, and then that ended, and then I just kept doing the show. So I've done 160 episodes of this since the radio thing ended, leading up to right now. Radio thing started the day after the AFC Championship game last year, and then lasted through like June, and then that went away, and then it became this, and here we are. Okay. Audio, if we did that already. Fishing has not started. Every award show is weird. Josh Allen knew last year beforehand. Look at that. USA beat Canada today in curling. The Olympics have started. USA won in women's hockey. Local girl from Western New York had two goals. Nice. Did USA have red or yellow stones? Without watching, I bet they had red. Oh, wow. Columbia House. What a throwback. My dad used to get CDs in the mail. Yeah, well. Yeah, I did a lot of that. We talked about this fairly extensively the other night, live during Brain Vault, Tim and I. And I told the story about Columbia House is one thing. BMG was ridiculous. I don't know how the business model, I don't even understand how they wanted to continue. Because you could send in a completely fake name with your real address, and they would send a box of CDs to you. You're like, yeah, I'll buy some later. No problem. And they would just send them, and then you just never open the mail from them again, and it would end. Then you'd move. Because this is more of a college thing. Right? A different address every year. So I was like, yeah, new address, 8 new names. Give me 80 more CDs. I didn't buy the 1,000 whatever CDs that I have on a wall over there. That'd be fun someday. Just go through the collection, A through Z. They're alphabetized. But, that was how people my age, that's how we built our collections. I'm not alone in this. Like, I'm going to try this. I think that if I type in BMG and then space and then the letter S, it will say scam first. That's my prediction. We'll see. I'll type in BMG. No, sleep medicine. SC. Schedule, school, scams. All right. I had to get to SCA. BMG space SCA, and it says scam or scams. There's 2 different ones. I'm clicking scam because that's the word I tried. Here's a whole, what is this? Not BMG Crypto Group Limited. This is a whole different thing. This is not about the CDs. They would just send you CDs. My one friend would use a different take on famous NBA players. So I remember he got a box of CDs delivered to Sean Kemper. at our address that we knew we were leaving 6 months later. Look, 10 new CDs or 8 or whatever the number was. And you can just do that repeatedly. Just make up names. All right. What was the point of that? Nothing. I watched The Muppets. Talked a lot about The Muppets. Read an article about The Muppets. Read an incredible article about The Muppets. There's a 50th anniversary. It's kind of a special, but really it's just an episode of The Muppet Show that looks and sounds like every other episode of The Muppet Show. And a woman who I'd never heard of, named Lily Loughborough, wrote this great article. And I looked her up, and I found a bunch of other stuff about her, and I want to read everything she's ever written. Not everything, but a lot of it seems super interesting. And having read it, and I went into this whole thing about this kind of writing can never be replaced by AI. It's just never, like, if you're really good, you're better than computers writing for us. And so I looked her up. I wanted to see what she looked like, get an approximate age, get a kind of a just big picture view of who this person is. And I found her on X or Twitter. And her most recent post, I'm going to find her again on here because I want to read this verbatim because I found this fascinating. Her name is Lily Loughborough. Twitter. Okay. So she posted her second most recent post was like a month ago, and it was just her sharing something that somebody else had written or whatever, like a friend of hers. The post before that, she shared something on January 19th about the strike at the LA Times. Oh, I'm sorry, January 19th, 2024. Okay? So she's got a Twitter/X account. She last tweeted, it was a repost from January 19th, 2024. The one before that was October 30th of 2023. Seems like she was fairly active leading up to then. But she kind of shut it down on Twitter or X. Maybe it's right when it switched to X. Maybe she went blue sky. I don't know. But I know she doesn't use Twitter much, or didn't use Twitter much. But I click this, I seek her out on February 5th. And wouldn't you know it, she posted something on February 4th. This is my newly discovered favorite writer. Based on potential. I'm looking her up. She's won awards for things. She seems to just, seems cool. TV critic. I want to read other stuff she wrote. So I go to find her. I'm like, I'm going to follow her. And I hit follow. And then I see that her most recent post was from February 4th, which is the same day the Muppet article came out. Muppet article came out on Washington Post Monday. I tried to read it. I couldn't because I didn't have a subscription. Friend of mine hears me saying this, says, I have a subscription, sends me a PDF of the article. I read the whole article yesterday online. Love it. Love her. I believe I said I love everything involved here. I love all the Muppets. I love Lily Loughborough's writing about the Muppet. All that. Love, love, love. Here's her tweet from February 4th. My job at the Washington Post was just eliminated, along with the whole book section, most of sports, post reports, and many, many others. Silver lining, my last piece was on the Muppets. I just discovered how great she is and used her as an example of why AI can't take over our world, because you need functioning brains like that and people able to process things in that way and then convey them to human beings. It was perfect. It was perfectly written. I don't do this often where I'm like, you gotta read this. But it felt like Chuck Klosterman. I feel like you gotta read Chuck Klosterman. And that might be the only one right now that's in my head where it's like, if he puts something out, I'm reading it for sure. And reading one article from this woman felt like that. I'm like, she's incredible. Yeah, she was let go. On the day that the thing came out that made me go, oh my God, who is this treasure? She was let go. By the time I actually read the article, she was gone. She filed this piece on the Muppets and then had to leave. And I think that's horrible. And then I get a thing in my email today. I'm going to look for it again because I didn't flag this one, and my computer's being real slow anyway. Actually, if I search for WAPO. Yeah. There it is. I don't know what this is. Extra Points, Matt Brown. I subscribed to it at some point. But an article about everybody should care about the death of the WAPO sports section. WAPO being Washington Post. It's a difficult landscape out there for sports media, and this week it got even worse. Excuse me, even worse. Is the article here? Earlier this week, the Washington Post nuked its sports section along with other critical beats. Hundreds of reporters lost their jobs, and a layoff with a number of affected journalists was larger than the total newsrooms for most remaining media outlets. For the purposes of our beat, that means that the dwindling number of newsrooms with actual investigative resources has shrunk even smaller. The New York Times doesn't have a formal sports section anymore, just The Athletic. CBS is laying people off, as did the LA Times. You've got ESPN, The Athletic, USA Today, plus a few individual writers and sports-specific newsrooms, some regional newspapers that are shrinking every year, and then a sea of individuals. That's almost it. I wish I could get in front of a classroom of students and tell them that it's okay. There's a market inefficiency to be exploited, and niche newsrooms can fully capture the void left behind by unreliable institutional media. But I don't think that would be the full truth. There are inefficiencies and niches out there. Extra Points helps to fill some of those, as does Front Office Sports, Sportico, Sports Business Journal, and a slew of really good independent newsletters. There's room for plenty more peer publications to join us. But tiny newsrooms just can't easily accomplish or provide certain things. Legal insurance is crazy expensive for small outlets, which can make more adversarial coverage of the wealthy and powerful much harder to do. Publications with daily deadlines often can't wall off the time to do lengthy investigations that might not even turn into stories. Travel, software, research, it's all expensive. If I knew the magic answer to help fix independent media, I'd change my line of work. I'm trying very hard to figure out ways to help others in sports carve out a living. I have suggestions, but no perfect solutions. I do know enough to know that losing WAPO means losing coverage, data, and analysis that a lone reporter, a cell phone, and a 12-pack of Red Bull can't replicate. Losing the ability to go deeper won't just hurt consumers, it will hurt the industry practitioners as well. Everybody needs access to the best information in order to make the best decisions possible. Without as many reporters kicking up dirt and asking questions, we won't have that information. We need independent media and the sort of outlets who can bankroll lawsuits. We lost an important one this week. I think that just ties into all of this stuff that we've been talking about the past few days, starting with the Bills going independent. Like, we don't need media. We are media. And then the media, like this, there's not a direct correlation like A to B, but can you see this is the same story? Because to me, it feels like the same story. When the team is like, I don't need you to cover me. We'll cover ourselves. We got it. And then our message is going to be exactly what we want our message to be. And we're fine. So you take like the Bills thing. Like we got it. We don't need a radio station anymore. Radio station also probably doesn't need the Bills. They happen to be positioned correctly because they have built themselves as the place where people go to talk about the thing they care about the most in Western New York, and that is our football team. Like, that's collectively the thing that unites us the most. I'm not saying that's all we've got, but go Bills is our language. That's our, that's how we talk. So people still need a place to go for that. I said this so many years ago. Somebody asked me, it might be I have an article. They took a picture of me and everything. I was like a featured interview in the Buffalo News a long time ago. And I think in there is a question about the future of radio in particular. And my thought then and my thought now is you're always going to need a place to talk about the Bills and the weather. All right? When we have a snowstorm, you need WBEN. And as long as the Bills exist, you need WGR or something like it. I mean, obviously, it doesn't have to be that exact place, but back then I said FM radio, I don't see why that would make sense. At the time, we weren't into Spotify. But Pandora was there at the time that I was having that conversation. I think I'm estimating, but it makes sense to me, or made sense to me 20 years ago to say I don't see the future of who needs a person to introduce a Skynyrd song. So who needs local? If you're tuning in for music, what does local do for you? And I'm rooting for the radio industry. I want people to succeed. I want my friends and colleagues and former colleagues. I want everybody to be able to have jobs and do the thing they love doing. But if you're just playing the same music that anyone else can play, why do I need you to say, boy, I was cold coming into work today, Buffalo. Here's AC/DC. That's never made sense to me that was sustainable. But the talking about things that are happening or just happened thing has always seemed important to me, and I want it to remain important. It's a bug. I like this bug that come from out here. It's so small, tiny little bug. So it's all crazy. But changing media landscape is the phrase that I threw around a lot when talking about the Bills GR thing. And yeah, here we are. All right, Arbo, what's up, brother? What's a bad topic? Yeah, I like the dial. Oh, talking about LBL, dial a deal. Tradio. Tradio didn't bother me. Tradio was small and folksy. That's just people calling in, trying to sell their crap. I can't imagine there's ever been an actual transaction that takes place from it, but it's still entertaining. It feels homey. It feels old school. And the guy that was doing it, I haven't tuned in since I was dismissed. But the guy that was doing it was really good. He was cool. Unconventional talent. Just kind of fun goofball doing his show in Lockport. It was cool. But sustainable? Ooh, yeah. Hi, I heard a guy half an hour ago selling one hubcap for a 73 Pinto. Can I get his number again? I know he wanted $8. I was going to offer him $6. It's weird. It's a weird show. That didn't bother me. I liked it. The thing that bothered me was 3 times a month or something. Instead of doing my show for 2 hours, the first hour was taken up by paid programming, and it was insane paid programming. It was just hi, I'm a chiropractor, but I'm a conspiracy theorist. So let's talk about that. It's chiropractic hour. Let's talk about vaccines and autism. It was just so bad. So just one of those things you can't tell. Is this guy nuts or is he lying? Either he believes this and he's insane and should be locked away, or he's just lying because he knows you can have conversations about these things and people will buy into it. That bothered me. I didn't like that show. All right, what's the deal with our ice fishing friends? Because we got Scott Wilson coming up soon. Do I have a text from out there? Oh, I've got something. I've got pictures. I've got photos. It's happening. They're out there. All right, lots of pictures, but no phone call yet. And I've got Scott Wilson coming up, so I'm not sure how this is all going to work, but we'll try it. Maybe we'll have Scott on, and then we'll have those guys on afterward. Because, they're setting up for the day. They're busy. The picture, I'll describe the pictures, because I can't put them on the screen right this second. First one is one of my friends in what appears to be a Carhartt full winter hat and mask combo with goggles. Then I've got somebody with an auger, it looks like. A lot of buckets. See some poles. That seems like Ben. There's Chris standing on the ice or standing on a frozen lake. Ray just sent something. Ray just sent something too. There's a lot going on here. Yeah, it looks like they're prepping. Doesn't look like a very busy day on the lake. They seem to be the only people out there. I'm going to try to bring you live ice fishing. It's the Olympics. We're open to new sports, right? Open to stuff you don't typically watch on TV. Well, how about watching some ice fishing? I'm not expecting a ton of action. I don't know if you know this, but typically, even on like regular fishing shows, they don't want to do those live. You kind of want to get the highlights. You're kind of looking for a highlight reel if you're producing a fishing show. Hunting, too. Because a hunting show live is just a guy sitting in the woods or standing in the woods or up in a tree stand or a blind or whatever you want to call it. Live fishing, bad. Live ice fishing, probably worse. But I'm just trying to get the scene, get the tone. Get some new colors on the show. It's all white. It looks great. The pictures look great. Ben says, we are ready when you are. All right. Should we? Yeah, let's just try it. Look, I could take a break and then try to connect with them. But then it doesn't work. What's the point? We can just fail together. All right. All right, let's call Ben. We'll call Ben, and then we can talk through it. We can work together. And if we get the graphics going, the video going, even better. Otherwise, we'll just get an audio update from Ben on ice fishing. All right, I'm calling Ben. We'll see how it goes.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good, Ben. How are you?
Good.
We're
Fantastic
live.
Day out here on the lake.
We're live right now. I figured the best way to do it, rather than texting you, is to call you, start talking to you, and then have somebody else click that link and start giving us video of you talking to me on the phone, and they can just work as a cameraman.
Sounds great. Should I text Ray that link then?
You should text Ray. Yeah, you should text. Why don't you do this? Text Ray the link. I'm going to play one song. It'll give us like 8 minutes. And then I will, give Ray the link, and
all right. It's glorious day at sea, sir.
All right. Do we need the music? Do we need to play music, or do we want to just stay right here? Let's just keep it here.
Let's just stay right here. I think we're doing a good job. I just texted the thing to Ray. We'll see if Ray's going to get the ninja video in a minute. When he does, he'll start videoing, and you'll have that to go with our
audio. All right. So, Ben, first off, how many times have you been ice fishing? This seems like something that's gone on a couple times. I laughed it off the first time. It seems like maybe it's the third that the group has gotten together, or a group has gotten together to do this.
Is your question how many times have I been ice fishing like over the course of my life this year, or how many times have I led a group in this way?
All of it.
Many times as a kid. We did a lot of ice fishing as a kid, and then didn't do it for a number of years. And now that my kids are a little bit older and I can get out for a few hours, I will come out with friends, or sometimes I just come out and sit on the ice by myself for a few hours and
we've got it.
Catching stuff or not catch stuff. It is a lovely way to spend your day.
We've got video. Is that you sitting next to the red tent, or red, whatever that is?
Yeah, that's an ice shanty. It's kind of insulated, so when you go inside, it's maybe 10 degrees warmer in there than it is anywhere else. It's a little creepy. It's super dark, but on a day like today, when it's like 20 degrees out and sunny, we're sitting out here and lounging in the sun.
How many holes have you drilled, or what? I don't know the term. How many holes are prepared for you guys here?
I think drill is the right word, but we use something called an auger. Hey, Ray, can you show Joe with the auger? They have fancy ones that are powered, but we're old school, so they're just, it looks like a fence post driller. Yeah, that's essentially what it is.
Oh, there we go.
The ice.
There we go.
And we did, I think Pat did most of them, but we did 7 of them. So we have 6 tip-ups in, and then Pat is jigging for smaller fish through our 7th hole.
Through your 7th hole?
Tip up, tip up.
Oh, boy.
Tip up. Here we go.
Oh, my.
So exciting.
Wow. I'm going to take myself off the screen so you guys are bigger.
All right, so you pull it up slow and then set the hook.
Oh, my God.
Got him? Oh, yeah.
Oh,
that's a big one.
I screwed up.
Don't stop.
Oh, no.
Holy shh.
You
that's
can.
A big, I don't know that fish is going to... Is that going to fit through the...
Oh, my God.
Whoa.
Holy shit. That is a big-ass bass. Holy
wow.
God.
Can you hold that?
Yeah.
So that is
a very large largemouth.
Wow.
I gotta tell you, I thought the whole fishing thing was a total practical
Holy
joke.
shit.
That's a real fish.
Oh, I can't believe we just got that live.
That was amazing.
Wow. Is that Pat?
Fishing is just
Hi,
that
Pat.
easy.
Hey, Brad. Yeah, they had me drilling all the ice holes, and I thought that after a while it was all just a big joke.
A prank.
Fish with your phone and Joe.
What are we
So
looking?
we're not in bass season, so this is not what we were trying to catch today.
Well,
And we're pretty happy with how it came out, but we're going to put that one right back in just a second.
do you put them face first or tail first?
Well, as our friend Chris learned last year, you put them face first, because when you put them tail first, they just keep jumping back out. So this is the funnest thing about ice fishing. It is you're sitting out with your friends, but we have 6 hip-ups set out, which are just these crossed pieces of wood with reels at the bottom of them that are hooked to a flag.
Where's he going? You got to shove him? There, he's gone.
He's gone. So they're hooked to a flag. You set the flags up, and then you're just sitting around the ice shanty, talking, listening to your friend's radio show, whatever. And then a flag goes up, and everybody races for the flag. And that was so exciting.
That's amazing.
If I had to guess, I would have thought
5.5 pound largemouth coming out of the hole.
I would have thought that we would have to do 20 hours of footage to get that moment, and we were connected for about a minute before everybody got up and sprinted, and suddenly ice fishing became the most exciting sport I've ever seen. That's amazing. Oh, my.
My hands are cold.
Yeah, Joe, put some gloves on, man.
So it's not that all day long most of the time. It's,
No.
it's a lot of sitting around doing nothing.
Well, I thought.
Punctuated by that sometimes.
Yeah, that's what I thought we were going to get. How many times today is it reasonable that you're not going to get a massive largemouth like that, but is it reasonable that you guys are going to get excited and sprint to a hole? How many times will that
4
happen?
more.
You get an Emmy for that. I'd like to be with you on stage. Awards.
So
The fishing awards? I don't know.
Radio awards.
Probably 4 or 5 more times today.
can we get whoever's got the camera, if that's Pat's got the camera, can we get like a close-up on each person, and maybe you pass the phone around so each person can talk and introduce themselves as they see fit? Use your first name, I don't care, whatever.
Sure. Ray, do you have the camera? Yeah. I'm not sure. Okay. So I'm Ben. I'm Ray's. I am Brad's senior rugby correspondent, and I guess now I'm your senior ice fishing correspondent.
Yes, you are. Absolutely.
And it's a beautiful day here in Ballston Lake, New York.
Oh, my God. It's so good. All right, next.
Patrick Highland. I'm Brad Riter's pledge brother from about 1,000 years ago.
We're too old.
I'm your downstate New York City correspondent, effective starting today, my first day.
Let's do it. Welcome to the show, Pat.
Joe. Hey, Brad. Is it this way? This way. It's audio.
It's just audio.
I'm Joe. I'm Brad's random movie quote correspondent, and now his junior ice fishing correspondent.
T-shirt slogan planning correspondent.
That's right.
Hi, Brad.
Hey, Ray.
Ray Walter, senior legal correspondent. Part-time fisherman.
Love it.
That was amazing. That was the biggest largemouth bass I've ever seen.
Did you? What's
unbelievable?
what's an estimated length on that? 22?
I'm not good. I'm not good.
Look like 22 from here. 21?
I'm not good at estimating length.
I'd say somewhere between 16 and 18 would be my guess, but
All right.
7 pounds.
I would say probably about 5.5, 6.5 pounds, somewhere between there.
It was in the
That's
water, so it's
gigantic.
probably bigger
So-
than that. It's just shrinkage.
That's a monster. I mean, if you were fishing with a rod and reel and you caught a 2 or 3 pound largemouth bass, you'd think it was the biggest fish you ever caught. That was gigantic.
I cannot believe we caught that
If it was
line.
an inch bigger, I would look like Roy Scheider on the back of the fucking Jaws boat.
We're gonna need a bigger boat.
So how does it work? Do you guys actually, will anybody get credit for that fish, or is that we caught a largemouth? There's no individual.
Caught situation. I think
Yeah.
all ice fishing's a we caught.
All right. I like it.
Plus, I caught it.
All right. No team and I.
This is me.
I think what I want to do is I'm going to take a break. I'm going to play a song. I'm going to have Scott Wilson on for a while, and then I'll text you guys and check back in, or I'll just call Ben again, and we'll do this again in, I don't know, almost an hour. You think you guys will still be out there?
Yes. It's gorgeous. It's
We might be-
absolutely beautiful.
We might be down at the seaport selling our haul.
How
Depends on how long it takes.
the Ballston Seaport? How long was the time from the time you walked out the door onto the lake today to the time that you were able to put a line in the water? What's the setup like?
Oh, it only took 10 minutes to get because we
Oh, that's not bad.
we did it on a team system where Joe and Pat were drilling the holes, and then I walked around behind them and set the line. So
I shoveled and took the depth.
Beautiful. All right. Well, great work, team. and we'll check back in with the ice fishing crew soon.
Sounds good,
All
Brad.
right, thanks, Brad.
All right, thank you.
Bye.
That was incredible. I don't know if I have time during one song to find the replay of that. No, I can't. I can't do it until after the show's over because they're going to render the video. I cannot believe that just happened. Any questions you have, Ray is in the chat. RWW is Ray Walter, who was the last guy on the screen. Any questions you have that are ice fishing related, put them in there. I'm sure he'll be glad to answer them. But I can't believe that just worked. And this is not a family show. Stop pretending this is a family show. I'm polite. I'm, in theory, I'm less vulgar on here than I am in life. But people are free to say whatever they want, so don't come at me with that crap. Yeah, that video is going to be something. That'll be all right. Okay, I'm going to play a song, get back to normal. That was awesome. It worked. The technology worked. That's amazing by itself. That the fishing, that happened. That just happened. That was me making up how to broadcast live from the top of a lake this morning, setting it up by texting my friends, and then we saw him catch a 21-inch bass immediately. The idea of catching something during what an accomplishment. Do they have Webby Award? Like, that's an award-winning moment right there. Imagine if I hadn't messed with the camera size and screwed up, but that was something. The most exciting moment in Riter Radio history? I can't think of what the other one would be. What is in second place? We connect with a live broadcast from the top of a lake, and seriously, it had to be a minute. Action. Everybody's running. I didn't picture running. Wow. That was great. Be right back with Scott Wilson. It's Riter Radio.
Let's check in with Riter Radio's senior football correspondent, Scott Wilson.
You got a tough act to follow today, Scott Wilson.
What the hell do I do now?
I'm not positive. I've already.
I mean, what am I supposed to do?
Yeah,
to follow that.
You know what? I would compare it to the first comparison came up in the chat, and it said that was way better than the pistachio challenge. And then the other one, I was thinking about it. The only other time I've tried to broadcast an unconventional sport, not even unconventional, but like not something I'm used to doing. Baby Joe Macy fought DeVarrell Touch of Sleep Williamson, and I spent weeks preparing to be the color man for Kevin Sylvester's blow-by-blow of the match. And Joe Macy beat the crap out of the guy. It took like a minute, so I did like all this work to get prepared, and then I was on the air for the pregame show. That was about an hour long, and I was like, all right, here comes the fight. All right, there was the fight, and it was over. This was the opposite of that. I did nothing to prepare for it, and I expected to get nothing out of it. And seconds into going live from Ballston Lake, we got a 20-inch largemouth or 21-inch. It was a massive 5 or 6 pound fish that was live streamed. It was amazing. Just great. So now, I mean, we've got stuff. There's stuff because like the awards thing happened last night, and that's cool. And the Hall of Fame has happened, and the Super Bowl's this weekend. So I think we'll have no shortage of things. But you got to be on your A game if you want to beat the fish. And also, when you're done, we're going back live to Ballston Lake to see what happens there. So keep that in mind. You are you're the meat in an ice fishing little sandwich. That doesn't really work. You'd be the fish. I don't know.
Feels like I'm the vegan portion of this pescatarian entree here today.
It's all right.
Oh, wow.
It's all right.
It's all right. Listen, I'm fine with that.
Yeah.
I'm fine with that. Yeah, there's enough stuff. I think that do you want to just start straight football? Let's
Sure.
just go straight football,
Yeah.
just right off the bat.
Yeah, go.
I think it was the right move. Closest vote ever for MVP. I think that it was the right decision. I think Stafford was better than Drake May this year, even though a lot of Drake May this year I think could be attributed to, wow, we thought you guys were going to stink, more than he was the most valuable player in the league, because I think we've even seen during these 3 playoff games that they've had, the rest of the team has kind of dragged Drake May to this position. It has not been the other way around, where we've seen, for instance, players like Joe Burrow, or, Joe Burrow getting sacked 7 times and still finding a way to win. Josh Allen just willing teams to what should have been wins, but weren't. But still not his fault for 99% of the games. He's just been a passenger. So Stafford, and I like it was cool. I thought that he walked off saying, "I'm back. I'm coming back."
Yeah, that was cool. That was definitely cool. Vrabel winning. That is the "Hey, you surprised us" award. Coach of the Year is team that greatly exceeded expectations, and especially with it being his first year. And that to me, the vote was very close. I don't know if you look, but basically it looked like if one first place vote flipped to May, he would have won it. It was like 336 to 331. It was the closest
vote ever.
Yeah. So
a lot of people are complaining about the one vote for Justin Herbert being the different, but I haven't read it yet. Apparently the person that made that vote put out an article already explaining why he did it. So
I don't have a problem with people. Right. And what did Josh have? 2?
I think so, 2 or 3.
Yeah. We're not going to be unanimous on this whole thing. In a world where, Belichick's not a first ballot Hall of Famer, this is what happens when you let people vote on things. Just because you don't fall in line with everybody else. I could make a case for Allen. I could make a case for McCaffrey. I wouldn't ever consider making a case for Drake May, but a bunch of people did, and so I'm wrong, but not totally wrong because he didn't win it. So I don't know. I'm satisfied with the whole thing. And again, if your coach is the coach of the year, and your team has been dragging you through the playoffs, and I know that's not the voting it's a regular season award, but if you got the coach of the year, which means hey, you're the surprise team of the year, you just being a part of it doesn't make you the MVP. So I'm good with all of it.
Yeah, it's been a long season. I think, following along on social media last night, along with the award show, I thought the best thing that somebody brought up was the fact that this season has been so long and has been so crazy that we don't even bring up the fact that Mark Sanchez got stabbed and got in a fight with a guy and fired the day before a game. And then, that's wild. In most other sports, it's a pretty big story. That is a massive story that will not be overshadowed, and it just kind of happened, and we just forget about it with everything else that's happened this year.
Yeah, everything else that happened in sports, but also just in life. Like you texted me the other day, like I didn't see the Today Show host mom being kidnapped, and it's a big story, but it seems like it's a bigger story than that's crazy. That's movie stuff. And we're not talking about that.
Yeah,
the world is crazy.
It is crazy. I tuned on TV the other day and it was like somebody took a Today Show host's mom.
Yeah.
I don't know why that happened or how that happened, but it's certainly up there. It's as of right now, it's like the 10th weirdest thing that's happened so far in 2026. So we're setting a high bar already coming out of the gate here for this year. How were you on the Hall of Fame votes?
Good.
I was fine with it. I'm surprised L.C. Greenwood did not get in from that senior committee vote. I'm really surprised that, you can take 3 of the 5 from that senior committee and you need to have 80%. And Belichick didn't get in, nor did Robert Kraft. But only Roger Craig was able to get 80% out of that group.
Well,
is surprising.
Well, so it's possible.
Who are they voting for?
Right, well,
only Roger Craig.
Yeah, I mean, obviously you didn't have to put 3 names on there, right? You're not forced into it. You've got 5 names, and you're saying yes or no on them, but you can only say yes to 3. So we had the report that Belichick was out. We then, a couple days ago, got the report that Kraft was out. So now it was like, all right, somewhere between 0 and 3 of these players are getting in. And if I rank them by just my perception, it's just my era of football, Roger Craig was an unbelievable part of the most dominant team for years while I was like having my football brain formed. So I picture Roger Craig as an all-time great. L.C. Greenwood, I just heard about. And Ken Anderson, I saw the end of his career, and I saw him go to the Super Bowl and lose to Montana. But he just seemed like some old guy in the league. So my personal view is that, because that's kind of what I do when it comes to Hall of Fame. Like I think, did I feel like I was watching a Hall of Famer at the time? And with Roger Craig, I did. With the other two, I didn't. So it fits for me. And then everybody who got in, obviously Breeze, obviously Fitzgerald. Kuechly is a short career, but he was dominant and super highly regarded. And Vinatieri, say what you will about kickers versus football players, but if we allow kickers into the Hall of Fame, Vinatieri has to be in the Hall of Fame.
Oh, exactly. Special teams is a third of the game. And, I'm appreciative that he got that in there. Most of his major kicks were with the Patriots. Then he was able to really add on to the legacy by accumulating stats with the Colts. Of course, it helps that, I don't know if there's ever been a kicker that played with two better quarterbacks than that.
Right.
I mean, he went from Brady to Manning. So
somebody might have been a holdover.
And then Andrew Luck for a little bit.
That's right.
So
somebody might have been a holdover in San Francisco when they went from Montana to Young. And then you got to think about Green Bay also going from Favre to Rodgers, I would think. But that's staying put. This is switching teams and going to where the other guy is. But yeah, he was the beneficiary of really good quarterback play, but he obviously was a clutch performer. So no problem there. I like the list. I like that they didn't inflate it. I think this list would look worse if Kenny Anderson made it. If it was six,
yes,
five is a good number. I was waiting for more people to walk out. Tell me this. Is that show uncomfortable to you, the award show? Like everything you can just tell everybody knows what's happening. They get to the man of the year. I stayed up or I wanted to watch a movie, but I stayed with that broadcast through the end because, I don't know, once you hit like your 7th, 8th time in a row being nominated, maybe Deion Dawkins will be in consideration. But they immediately, instead of presenting the nominees or whatever, or bringing them all on stage, it just goes right into this piece that's already prepared about Bobby Wagner. You're like, wait, did everybody know what was going to happen on this show beforehand except for me? Because then it made me feel kind of dumb for sitting there watching it. But, that's just what the league has done now.
It is awkward. And, I think for me, the league awards took a bit of a hit when comeback player of the year went to Flacco over DeMar Hamlin, who died on the field and then came back to play the next year. Like, that's a pretty big comeback. That's probably the second most known comeback from death.
Right.
Is DeMar and then Jesus H. Christ.
Right.
And, would Jesus not get comeback player of the year?
I would think
season.
I would think he would.
I would think he would. They wouldn't give it to Flacco over Jesus. So why does DeMar? DeMar has a
it would
very
depend how
similar
much
story.
Jesus played. Does he step back into his traditional role as a safety? Is he contributing heavily on special teams? It would depend on Jesus' stats, I would think, when making that kind of decision. But I don't know. It's a tough call.
I would assume pretty good. I did see a cool note that Luke Kuechly now becomes the first ever player in the Hall of Fame to have played exclusively only for the Panthers. There's a lot of the teams out there have their guys in there, and a lot of guys, if you think about it, that are good enough for the Hall of Fame, they're normally not allowed to leave the building until they decide to. So the Panthers get their guy, quote unquote, their guy in. He played his entire career there in Carolina. Just imagine how big of a star he would have been if he played for an actual team somewhere else.
Right. He
would have been massive.
I mean, that is sort of his legacy, is that I heard he was great all the time, and I saw him play 3 times ever or something, I remember him being a big deal coming out of school, and then he landed in Carolina, never to be seen again, except in Pro Bowls. And so that one makes sense to me, despite the fact that, I was here for his entire career, but I don't remember much of actually seeing him play, but I know he's very well respected and not a real surprise that he gets in.
So I have one other trivia question for you here.
All right.
Regarding the NFL.
Okay.
You probably will get it easily, but only team to play every season in the NFL in the Super Bowl era and still not make the Super Bowl.
Cleveland Browns.
That is not correct.
They haven't made the Super Bowl.
That's not the correct answer.
Maybe, okay. Give me the question again, because maybe I'm reading it incorrectly.
What is the only team to play every season in the Super Bowl era without going to the Super Bowl?
Oh. I don't know how that's not the Browns still. Chargers.
No.
I don't know.
And Humphreys started.
That's right. Okay. I'm moving across the country here. Cardinals did. I mean, the Browns haven't been to a Super Bowl, so I don't know what we're going to do with this part of it. Not the Vikings, not the Lions. Lions?
The Detroit Lions is the answer. The Cleveland Browns is wrong because they didn't have a team for 3 years in the Super Bowl era.
Okay. Yep. Good loophole.
They left the league in 96, 97, around there, came back in 99.
Yep.
So
yeah, they had 2 or 3 seasons without. Okay, that's all right. Legit question. I started trying to twist it into played only during the Super Bowl era, like you were asking about the Panthers or the Jaguars or the Texans or something like that. But it's not that. So I played everyone. All right, that's good. Good question. Good answer. Good everything.
As far as the Super Bowl is concerned, we haven't talked much about it. I haven't even thought much about it. They're two very similar teams. Drake May hasn't played all that well. Honestly, Drake May has looked more like Sam Darnold in the playoffs than Sam Darnold has.
Yeah.
So, I think both sides have pretty good defenses, but have opportunities to be exploited. I think, for me, I give the advantage to the Seahawks because I think that they've got the best player on the field in Jackson Smith-Njigba. I think he is going to be the difference maker. How New England is able to take him out of the game now, whether that be try to put extreme pressure on Darnold so that he doesn't have those opportunities, or what. If Njigba has his average day, I think the Seahawks are going to win. I think that they have enough defense to keep that offense of New England that I don't think is all that dangerous, kind of contained. And I think you can look back at the second half and really the last couple of weeks of the season. I think what the Bills did in the second half of that game in their comeback win and at Foxborough has significantly affected the way the last 5 games or so of the season here, however many they played since that game. I think there was 2 or 3 games left in the regular season, now 3 in the postseason.
Sure.
Their offense has not looked the same. It hasn't. It's been a lot more too high safety. It's been, teams have kind of copied that look of what the Bills did. It's been very effective. They've had 2 weeks to practice for stuff like this. Maybe it's a different look. I don't know. I don't think that the Patriots have enough dynamic offense. I love Walker too, the running back for the Seahawks. So I think Seattle is in a better position here. I would expect this has potential to be a sneaky good game. Unfortunately, I just have no interest in seeing either one of these teams win. It would be interesting to see Sam Darnold be the first guy from that draft class actually win a Super Bowl with absolutely no doubt that he's like the 3rd or 4th best quarterback from that class. But, and
I'm okay with it though.
Not liking the Patriots.
Yeah, that's really all I tuned into that award show in part because of Dion, in part because of kind of sort of Josh Allen, and then mostly to root against the Patriots. Like that's what I'm doing now. And I'm going to watch the Super Bowl rooting against the Patriots. And I've decided I'm going to be okay with it if they win because it's going to come crashing down next year and it'll be fine. But I don't want that on the resume, and again, I always bring this up, but I just don't want to talk to Mike O'Brien about it. Mike is our senior Boston correspondent, and he's been very dismissive of the Bills, rightfully so, for years and years and years, and this assumption that suddenly the Patriots have passed the Bills and the Bills' time is done. I don't like it, and his argument gets strengthened with a win here. So my biggest motivation here is to not have Mike O'Brien have another Super Bowl champion. And I like Mike, but we can't have that.
Will you guys be watching the Super Bowl halftime Bad Bunny performance, or will you be watching the alternate broadcast with Kid Rock and several other people that we've never heard of?
I'm going to go with the one that's I don't change the channel during Bills games, and I don't change the channel during the Super Bowl because I'm American, and this is what we do. So while I might not, and probably. I probably won't pay much attention to the halftime show, but it will still be on TV because as soon as it's over, they're going to play football again, and it's a Super Bowl, and I'm going to watch it. So I'm not going to seek out, OAN or whatever live stream to catch this other thing. That said, I have a feeling someone will record it, and I'll be able to check it out afterward because I am interested in seeing what the hell they do over there, but I'm not participating in any way during the live moment of it happening.
The clean, family-friendly Bawa to Ba performance. Kid Rock leading the way for just good, clean fun, where a part of his song is that he's going to paint the sheriff's town red and then paint his wife white.
Yeah.
Listen, just good, clean fun.
Yeah.
So on the other side, Bad Bunny could be saying the same thing, but I would have no idea because it sounds cool.
It will definitely sound cool. There will be some polyrhythms. There's going to be a lot going on. And I don't know I couldn't name a Bad Bunny song, but I will say that every time I've come across some sort of a Bad Bunny performance, I'm like, oh, this is cool. I wonder what he's saying.
To me, I feel like it's going to feel like, for most of America, halftime this year is going to make your living room feel like you're in a fun Mexican restaurant.
That sounds great.
You're already going to be eating chips and salsa. Right? Like you're already going to have nachos or taquitos.
Right when you walk in. Right when you walk in, you're getting chips and salsa. Yep.
You get the chips and salsa, and then
there might be a margarita.
Does anybody ever go into a Mexican restaurant and think, I wish they would play Kid Rock instead of this fun Spanish music? No. No one's ever said that ever.
Oh.
So to me, it's going to feel like, oh, cool. There's a live band at my La Cantina or whatever the hell Mexican restaurant, that you
that we go to in Toledo. Yeah. I mean, this is what we seek out when we don't know, when there's no specific plan, because there's this amazing restaurant in town, the barbecue place, when we don't know what we're doing in a town. It's like, all right, let's find a Mexican place because it's going to be
when we go
great.
to Alabama, we try to go to Dreamland Barbecue.
Right.
But there's not a lot of places like that in the MAC. So
Mexican restaurants are always
Toledo.
They're always B+ or better. Always. Except that time they tried to kill John Fuller.
In Toledo,
that one time. We still go back. We just have to be careful with John.
Right. He's got to be very, very specific. So I don't really get the outrage about it. I'm excited about it. I'm going to have my chips. I'm going to have my salsa, and it's going to feel like we're on the road somewhere. It's going to be great.
One of the best weddings I ever attended. My one friend is Cuban, and we got to the wedding, and it was normal. Just you're hanging out. It was at a really nice place. And next thing you know, they ask everybody to go to their seats. We're like, it's too early for that. Why are we going to our seats? And then they had us all right, table this, stand up. Okay, and then this table, stand up. Okay, now everybody walk in a circle around your table. And next thing you know, I don't know how they did it, but they turned it into this massive party with, Latino music that next thing, me, Scott, how often do we go on the road? And I'm like, hey, let's hit a club and dance.
Reno was the only time, and we couldn't get in because we had sandals.
Yeah, right. We were gonna try to go that. Well, that was a hell of a night. But they tricked me into having the most fun I've ever had for like 10 minutes by just, all right, now stand up. All right, now go around this. All right, now that table interact with that table, and it turns into a figure eight. Now this table do this. And then like this giant mascot came out, and it looked like a giant piñata head, and it was the best. And I didn't know what was going on, but I was just doing what I was told, and it was so fun. And if Bad Bunny can in any way replicate that wedding that I attended 30 years ago, then more power to it. More power to him.
I would assume that that's going to be the vibe. I know that I don't know any of his songs, but anytime I've ever seen him, it seems like that. It seems more salsa dancing than just like a hip hop where you're trying to shake an ass, something like that.
Yeah, there's something. There's something there.
I'm looking forward to it. I think it's going to be fun. You can't beat. You love Pitbull.
I was just going to say Fireball.
To me, Pitbull and Fireball is a gateway drug to Bad Bunny.
That sounds right. I was just thinking about Pitbull, and I didn't want to bring him up because I wasn't sure if you'd connect them in the same way. But I've never had more fun than when we saw fake Pitbull with Bag of Donuts when we were in Louisiana, and they came and live horn. Like, there are going to be live horns. I've never seen any music with live horns that I didn't at least partially enjoy, and that includes middle school concerts. Like, wow, they really punched this thing up with that trombone. It works, man. Live horns are the best. I saw Chicago live in concert. It was Chicago opening for Crosby, Stills, and Nash, and I thought, all right, I'll sit through Chicago, and then CSN will be cool. And it turns out CSN was fine. They were kind of bland and boring. I wanted Chicago to play for another hour and a half because of live horns. Live horns are the best. So Kid Rock's probably not bringing any horns, and neither are those country singers. So I'm going to stick with the plan and just watch the Super Bowl like a real American would.
Well, Kid Rock could bring horns if he brings that guy from January 6th with the big.
Oh, right.
The big headpiece. I assume he's going to be there.
That's not what I mean by live. Those are dead horns.
Oh, okay. You mean you mean like brass?
Yeah, live
horns. Okay.
Live.
Yeah, no, I'm with you there. Yeah, for sure.
But when we say horns, we're also including saxophone, which is a woodwind, but that's not the point. Horns.
Right. Yeah,
horns.
yeah. No, woodwinds are included. I will include woodwind.
Shiny and
nothing
gold.
wrong with a good clarinet.
Yeah, but not dead horns stolen from an animal and put on your head for a January 6th thing. Okay, right. What else is
I've got
happening?
some college football. I got a little college football notes. Remember, I don't know when it was, maybe last week, we talked about how Rutgers was like half a bill in the hole in athletics.
Yeah.
Well, there's been some more state schools out here that have to put out their numbers.
Oh, boy.
And it turns out Florida State is $437 million in the hole in athletics. That is 71% of Florida State's total deficit right now. Penn State is $535 million running a deficit.
So Rutgers is fine?
In athletics.
That's what you're telling me?
I guess so. Rutgers was just first, so it seemed bad. But apparently, this is just what happens now in some of these big schools. I don't know how they're able to do it. Well, I mean, that's not true. I do know a little bit. Florida State has decided to raise their tuition to out-of-state students 10%. And some of these other schools are raising the student activity fee, which seems like, oh, okay, that's cool. I'll throw some money. There's nothing wrong with student activity fee that pays for, cool stuff. We get club sports and we get, volleyball nights and stuff. No, at Florida State, I would imagine most of that is going to football.
Yeah.
But they're just not saying this is the football tax. They're making it seem like it's for you.
Yeah, I remember our student activity fee was like, and that's how we're going to get Blind Melon to come to the school this year.
Yes, right, stuff like that. Now it's how do I get this 19-year-old to go from Louisiana Tech to here?
Yeah.
Well, it's going to be your student activity fee in part. So yeah, that's happening. Also in college football, they put out a list of what group of 5 teams had the top rated recruit. Now that the second signing day has passed this week.
Okay.
What group of 5 teams had the top rated recruit from each state? And I'm proud to report that the Buffalo Bulls were tops in 3 of those states.
Really?
the top-rated recruit for any Group of 5 team from the state of Virginia, Ohio, and New Jersey.
Those are good states.
Those are very good states to have the top-rated Group of 5 recruit. So, Bulls, lost a bunch in the portal. They're, reserves are on the way. Backup is coming. There's some, obviously the Ohio guy is the one that we've talked about, the defensive end that I think is going to be an absolute stud. But there's reinforcements are on the way there for the Bulls. So that's a good thing to see and just kind of quantify. I mean, I know ratings for recruits are kind of out the door as far as, you can't really ever know.
Right.
Khalil Mack was 1 star. So, what can you do with that? But still, a lot of it is pretty close. There's just, when they miss big either way. My last college football note is, I don't know if you've paid attention to, and we're going to dip into the world of politics here.
Oh, boy.
Just to show how important college football is. I don't know if you're aware, but down in Georgia, there's an upcoming Senate race for senator there in Georgia. John Ossoff's seat, currently held there in Georgia. And the Republicans have put forth Derek Dooley to be their runner for this race. His name might sound familiar because he's a former college football coach. He remember there was a lot of rumors that they might put Paul Feinbaum up for this if they could in Alabama.
No, I didn't know that.
But they decided to go a different way. So football ties, and obviously they're in Alabama. They've already got
Tuberville.
What's his name? Tommy Tuberville in there. So this seems to be the way that they're going. They tried with Herschel Walker, but remember he came out and every time he spoke, it was clear that he was a moron. And he lost.
I was so positive for the first several months of that there was another person named Herschel Walker that was running for office, and it was just a coincidence. And, maybe they're big fans down there, so somebody got named that. But no, that was actual Herschel Walker.
No, it was actually Herschel Walker. So Derek Dooley, the former head coach, I think at one of the G5 Louisiana schools, maybe Louisiana Tech, then got hired to be the head coach at Tennessee. So what is the response attack ad from the Democrats in the state of Georgia? How big is college football? Their attack ad back is the Republicans are running the worst head football coach at Tennessee ever to try and be your senator. And the whole thing is highlights of Tennessee's screw-ups under him and cuts to him on the sideline just looking dejected because they're getting killed or they have too many men on the end of the field costing them the game against LSU. And the whole thing is, this is really who you're going to vote for. The worst head coach for one of your rivals' teams ever.
Wow.
Like, big graphics of his overall record as head coach at Tennessee. Like,
that's
the
amazing.
response is, this dude sucks at coaching football. You cannot make him your senator.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, he's been at LSU, Louisiana Tech, Tennessee obviously is a big thing, Missouri, Bama. Yeah, right. You can't do this. Senior offensive analyst at Bama wants to come in and work in Georgia, represent you in Georgia. That's awesome. He did start at Georgia as a grad assistant in 1996, but that's his last connection to the state of Georgia. Looking at this is a checkered past. If I'm a football first Georgian, this is I think
he was with the Cowboys for a little bit there too.
Yeah, Cowboys, Dolphins, Giants. He's been all over the place. But yeah, that is awesome. That's a good plan. That'll work, right?
Yeah. I would assume so. I mean, Tuberville was a terrible person and an a-hole, and nobody liked him. But he had the undefeated season at Auburn. So you're already getting half of the state just off the rip. So I just think it's great to see how important college football is, that it has absolutely nothing to do that he's probably, whatever his views are. The number one thing was they show him and then they show his record on the screen. And it's like 16-30 or whatever it was. And it's like the worst coach in Tennessee history. Right. Wants to be your senator in Georgia. It's It's fantastic. It's
That
what
is-
makes the sport by far my favorite. I have two other quick things.
All right, and then I've got one for you.
The Olympics start tonight,
Yep.
opening ceremonies. I think the opening ceremonies are live at 3, but who's going to be able to watch that? So prime time tonight. Have you seen the latest huge Olympic scandal
Nope.
that broke yesterday?
Nope.
Apparently, it's in ski jumping, male
Ooh.
ski jumping.
Oh boy.
Would you like to take a guess at what that is?
It's going to involve hormones or something.
You're close.
It's some sort of this is a men's ski jumping controversy as opposed to like a former
Women's.
man who's now a woman who's competing as it's not that.
Yeah, no, we're not doing that.
Okay.
We're not dipping our toes in those waters.
No thanks.
I don't need Riley Gaines on my porch.
I don't need any of this. No, I don't know.
Okay, so here it is. They've discovered that ski jumpers have been injecting hyaluronic acid into their penis
I don't
to
know.
inflate the size of their penis.
Okay.
Okay, now that might be like, well, all right, that sounds like a good idea anyway.
Does this
But
does this have to do with like centralizing your body weight or something?
no, but that is very funny.
Better
Just
for
have a
balance.
honking
Better for
dong.
balance. Isn't it like a sail?
No, so what it is in ski jumping, aerodynamics is everything. So there's very strict rules about the clothing and the tights that you're able to wear. There can only be like a 4 centimeter amount of like distance between your body. There's all these different types of rules.
Okay.
So apparently the story goes that the people are injecting their penis with the acid, inflating the size of their penis. So then they get to use a larger,
Suit.
onesie or, suit. They get a larger suit.
Onesie.
And when they jump, because they have the larger suit, and I would assume the junk eventually they take out the acid or it just kind of goes away or whatever, they then have the extra amount of fabric in that area where air would go through, and it creates an extra pocket and actually would give them an extra 5 meters on their jumps.
Wow.
So I'll be honest, it doesn't sound like cheating to me. Whoever came up with this, you got to give it to them. You've got to give it to them for this Olympics. After this Olympics, I think you have to say, new rule, you can't give yourself temporary monster dongs to get the extra fabric, to get the extra 5 meters. However, for this Olympics, I'm going to give you the extra large dong distance because listen, somebody had to think of it, and
It's a slippery slope, Scott.
they should be rewarded with that.
It's literally a slippery slope. But all right, you're talking about temporary monster dong. What if the plan is permanent monster dong? You're like, I was doing this anyway. I just happened to be a ski jumper. Like, how do we litigate that?
I don't know. Well, I think it would have to be the material that was used. I think if the material that you're injecting into your junk, if it's something that's designed to go away, I think that would be illegal. But
Why do you want it to go away?
If it
Who wants it to go
I
away?
think that's the thing. Well, because if you would want it to go down so that you would have the extra fabric. Do you know what I mean?
So this is a weigh-in type of situation. This is cutting weight for the weigh-in, and then you put it right back on.
It's increasing weight for the weigh-in.
Okay.
Yeah.
So now we got to come up with different definition of
Ski
temporary
jumpers
versus
might
permanent.
have to start weighing their dongs before.
But
You know what I mean? Like they
probably
might
not
just
this
have
year.
to do dong weigh-ins.
But probably not this year, right?
Probably not this year. Probably not. But I guess the World Anti-Doping Agency is trying to figure out, like, they're kind of like, I don't know, dude. Like, what are we supposed to do with this?
But is this why Trump is
How do we
trying
test
to?
for this?
I have a story open here that tucked within the appropriations bill signed by President Trump this week was a provision that withholds the U.S. annual dues to the World Anti-Doping Agency until the organization takes steps to address U.S. accusations that WADA is beholden to Chinese influence. This could all tie together, Chinese and injections, and
It could, but I'm in favor of this. So, good for these ski jumpers, and I think more importantly, it shows the distinct difference in the two Olympics that we have, summer and winter. Summer Olympics is how fast can you run in a circle, or we're going to put 10 guys on one side, 10 guys on the other with one ball, and can you make it in that goal? Or basketball. And the Winter Olympics is, hey, what if we got these guys with overinflated dongs and put skis on the top of a hill and just shoved them down to see how far they go? The Winter Olympics seems much more like, can you survive? Can you survive? Yes. Ski jumping is a Jackass bit.
Yeah.
Just 100 years before Jackass.
Yeah.
It's, what if we got like guys and gals together and we put blades on their feet and then we made them jump? You think they could land it, or
right.
Like, if they do, we'll give them points. If they don't, that sucks. It's all very dangerous in the winter.
What's the Japanese game show with the?
Oh, it's their version of Wipeout. Right?
Wipeout, yeah. It's called Wipeout. It's been going on for a long time. There's tradition there. There is something beautiful and magical about watching events happening on snow and ice. But in reality,
I love it.
It's a carnival more than it's pure sport. And I know I'm not trying to downplay the skill that it takes to do these things. I can't do any of them. I'm not going to pretend that I ever could or wanted to. It's awesome to watch. But so is the human cannonball. Fun to watch. And that
Evel
Knievel was fun to watch, but it's stunts. It's stunt programming that looks great on television, and I get it.
It's Skyscraper.
It's Skyscrapers. Skyscraper is excellent.
Right. It's, hey, what if we made people cross-country ski for 5 miles and then made them shoot at something with no break?
Biathlon's crazy.
And then said right after that, you got to do that 3 more times.
Keep going.
Keep going. Yeah, the whole thing is in the wintertime is wild. It's wild. It's fun. I love all of it. You're right. I'm right there with you.
I had the Winter Games game for my Commodore 64, and biathlon was awesome.
Yes,
it made
I agree.
It made no sense, but it was still cool because you had to like get your heart rate down before you could shoot. It was cool. It was cool.
My last thing is, we've talked a little bit about betting on this program before.
Yeah.
Are you familiar with like the poly market?
I keep seeing that word. I keep seeing those words, and I keep not looking into it. I don't.
Where it's like overseas, but you can kind of bet on anything.
So, like, what's available?
So, like, there was a big uproar like a month ago where one of the bets was how long the press briefing at the White House was going to last. Would it be over 55 minutes? And magically, like in the middle of a bunch of bets came in that said under, and then at 54 minutes and 30 seconds, suddenly the press secretary just kind of says, "All right, that's it, bye," and closes the thing and leaves.
This is why you can't bet on the Oscars, and why you can't bet on the football awards. Shouldn't allow. Yeah,
this is where where there was a lot of betting on the elections. You know what I mean? Stuff like that.
Yeah. And honestly, an election makes more sense to me because it's so massive. But anything that is just decided by a person on a whim, that's, these are the prop bets we're talking about trying to get out of college sports because of the issues that arise. Anything that is a vote on a smaller scale, 50 people are voting. Will Belichick get into the Hall of Fame? It's way too easy to have inside information, and if I don't have that information, I want nothing to do with that wager.
I'm going to have to look into it more. Maybe we can get something generated here for like, will Paul Peck say bullseye in a broadcast? And maybe we can just, make a bunch of money
manipulate
on that.
it.
But the reason it came across my attention is that there was a doubling of a bet overnight, and it drew attention and got public. Would you like to know what that bet is?
Yeah, as long as it doesn't involve UB.
It's the odds of Jesus Christ returning to Earth by the end of the year.
By the end of this year.
Yes.
Have you ever
the
thought
odds?
Okay.
The odds this week went from 2% to 4%.
Ooh.
That he is coming back.
Wow.
So you can bet on if Jesus Christ will return by the end of the year. And it's interesting that there was it makes me think that there's sharks in the water here. Somebody knows something. And listen, you can get in on no if you want, but don't say I didn't tell you so. There's something going on.
Can you imagine the controversy late December? Christmas. Let's just say Christmas. Let's say it's they're lighting leading up to Christmas, and they're lighting the tree at the White House, and then just something happens in the sky. I don't know what it would look like. But something happens in the sky, and he shows up. He's got the robe. He looks just like all the drawings.
He comes down with a red MAGA hat.
How on earth? How are we gonna decide for sure? Because the people who said he won't be back be like, that's not him. Like, people didn't think Damar Hamlin, back to this, loops right back around. That's not Damar Hamlin in the booth. Right. It was Damar Hamlin. Well, why is he wearing that? I don't know. He's cold.
Christ.
He's cold. But you could show up looking like Jesus, and you're not. People aren't going to believe you're Jesus.
So this could be movement investments from aliens.
It could be investments from aliens.
And then they come down and show themselves and say, "Hey, Jesus Christ, pay me." And then they kind of take off. This could be a play from Big Alien.
Oh, yeah, right. So they fake it. They make the wager. But then what do you do with that cash when you're not here?
The dollar's used all across the universe. It's
That's right. We're the center of everything. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. Let's, for right now, we're still the center of the universe. The dollar's good pretty much anywhere.
All right, I'm going to ask you a question. You tell me the first. We're going to call this a spelling bee. It's easy though.
Okay.
So I'm watching. I watched a movie last night. I want to talk to you about that. I want to assign you a movie because I would like to discuss it with you at some point in the near future. Not even for the show, just for life. And I'll throw it out there to everybody else too because I think everyone should see it. It's super interesting. I had someone text me and say, "Dude, you got to watch this." There's a movie on Peacock. It's called Begonia, B-U-Gonia, like Bugonia. And
Is that Emma Stone?
She's in it. I don't want to tell anybody anything about it. I'll tell you that Jesse Plemons is in it.
Yeah.
Emma Stone is in it. And I'll just stop there. It's one of those ones where, like, you don't want to know anything about it, just watch it. It is an experience. I'll tell you that. It is an experience.
Every time I've seen any clips from that, it looks like crap.
It's not crap. It's an experience. It came out last year. Once I was like halfway through it, I remembered that I had heard something about it, like a guy that popped up, and I was like, oh, I remember hearing him talk about this movie a little bit, but I don't want to talk about anything. This is just an assignment to you and anybody listening. Check out Begonia, Bugonia, and it's on Peacock. After I finished the movie, I flipped to something else, and there were commercials, and I was like half paying attention or not paying attention, but it was a commercial for Fancy Feasts, which is high-end cat food, or at least they purported to be. It's the Grey Poupon of cat food, and they used the phrase "moose pate." Moose pate.
Okay.
In your mind, how is the word moose spelled?
In relation to food, I would assume that it's Mousse with that accent.
Yeah, that's probably the right way, but I heard it the other way, and I wasn't even looking up, so I didn't even know it was a cat food commercial. I thought it was somebody selling a food made out of
Called
moose liver.
Moose pate.
I thought it was moose liver, like the animal with the moose. The moose liver. That's all. That's all I got. I'm going to end with that. I'm going to take a break after we say goodbye to Scott, play a song, and reconnect with our ice fisherman friends on Ballston Lake. We're going to go fishing. Check in one more time. It was chaotic the last time. I did not expect that. Like you would think. I spent 10 minutes leading up to bringing them on saying nothing's going to happen. Like any fishing show you've ever seen on TV is pretty boring, but that's the edited version. Like they shoot for 3 days and they get you 30 minutes and it's not that bad. We're just going to go live and see what happens. And within a minute, they were sprinting and pulled this massive fish out of a hole in the lake. So I recommend sticking around. I can't promise that'll happen again. I haven't gotten any update or haven't looked at my phone to see if they've been bringing in more and more fish or if that was the only highlight, but we're going to check back in with them in a minute. Scott, thank you for your time. We'll talk to you Monday after the Super Bowl.
All right, see ya.
Bye. For Scott Wilson, I'm Brad Riter. It's episode 260. It's been a wild one today. And we'll continue in just a moment as I try to reconnect with our fisherman friends on Ballston Lake. All right, back to the lake we go. We got Ray Walter live on the line. He is one of several of my friends who are standing on Ballston Lake in the capital region. And when we last joined them, it was the most exciting minute in the history of Riter Radio, I think, because I was positive we were just going to talk about, so you guys are just going to sit in the snow and drink all day, huh? And then all of a sudden everyone was sprinting, and they pulled in a massive fish. Ray, you wrote a disclaimer in the chat about how you're not fishing for bass. Here it is. Disclaimer, we are not trying to catch bass, which we know are out of season. Unfortunately, the fish don't know that they're out of season. We're trying to catch pike, pickerel, perch, and walleye. And with the action that we caught in just the first minute of broadcasting live from Ballston Lake, I imagine we've missed quite a bit in the last hour.
Nope, that was it. That was it so far. We have been standing around, but we're due. And if something pops up now, it's nothing but fate at work here. This has been very slow. We checked all the tip-ups, all the bait's still on them, and that's it. You saw all of the excitement.
Well, we've got it. We've got it on video. I haven't been able to rewatch it because it's still, it's recording. You can't stop recording and then watch it and then continue recording. But as soon as we're done with this, I'm ending the show and we're going to go back and I'm going to send it to all my friends and I'm putting it on YouTube and I'm putting it on Instagram. It was incredible live video that we captured there. And
I'm thinking ESPN top 10 plays of the day, right? I mean, that's going to make it.
It's not completely out of the realm of possibility. I've got to see how good I can make it look. But there's a chance, man. I think we could do something with this. I've never seen anyone catch a fish like live, ever, on video. So we captured it. It's something. It's something to me.
Oh, it was.
So what have you done for the last hour? Are you guys playing euchre or what's going on out there?
No, we walked around. We checked all the tip-ups, made sure the bait's still alive, and it is. It's all swimming around. We've been listening to the show, of course. Sitting around a little bit. Dude, there's some jigging going on. You can see Joe Landy is jigging over here.
All right.
But it's a gorgeous day. Little to no wind. The sun's been shining. It's maybe 18 degrees, but it feels like 35.
We do Bill's
the
tailgate
real feel
parties.
Is higher. The real feel is actually higher than the actual temperature.
Well, you're in the sun, and then you've got the sun reflecting off the snow, which will heat you up a little bit. I've been outdoor ice skating, and you guys are clearly dressed for the weather. You guys, you know what you're doing. There's a lot of preparation put into this for all this build-up, and then we might have caught the only excitement of the day live on video earlier, but I still think you're going to have a good time. Is this one day of ice fishing, or is this today and tomorrow that you'll be fishing?
Tomorrow, I think probably in the morning they're going to get out. I think it's going to be terrible weather in the afternoon, but hopefully tomorrow morning they'll be able to get out and do get a couple more fish.
All right, so we make a trip to this area and this house in particular once a year for our draft, but it's not just about the draft. You guys traveled for ice fishing, but it's not just about ice fishing. What else is happening this weekend with you and the other guys? And I would assume other people are still coming, right?
Yes, I'm going to turn it over to Ben. He's going to fill you in on the festivities.
We've got quite a lineup this weekend, Brad. We're doing the ice fishing today, and then Omixke's Regulars, which is our Irish pub band that we play in. Myself and Pat, and, Chris and Ralph and Jimmy are playing at the Charlton Tavern tonight with a bunch of local friends coming out to watch. And then tomorrow morning we will do some ice fishing and get super cold. And then our friends whose house we're staying at, but a bunch of their friends over. So in their basement bar where we had the draft last summer, Omixke's Regulars will be playing again for all of their friends. So it's an action-packed weekend of Irish music and peanut butter whiskey drinking and, well, some fish catching.
Well, that was going to be my next question, was what's the drink of choice, and what do we got? It's afternoon, so I think, you're approved to do whatever you want. You're standing on a lake. That's what ice fishing is. It's about drinking. But what's the level of... I don't know, the level of influence that the beverages have had so far?
No, we haven't started yet. We just dragged all of our stuff out here and started the fishing and expected, after the luck we had with right at the beginning with you, Brad, we expected that luck to continue and nobody wanted to walk back to the house to get anything else. But I think we're to the point now where it's time to dip those oars in the waters. And I think it's going to be peanut butter whiskey. I mean, people drink beer, but you have to carry it a long way, and it's cold, and it's already cold. So that's not really what I'm going for. But pretty much peanut butter whiskey, some gummies. Some people like the gummies. That's not my thing, but that's what people do. And then when we're indoors, it's usually Harp, Guinness, and Smittix for the weekend.
For the McSkee's Irish stuff happening. All right. Well, best of luck. Please continue to take pictures and send them along, because I'm missing out. I very much feel like I'm missing out right now, but could not make it out there. But glad you guys.
Not right now.
Not right now. You're not.
Not right now. You're not missing anything.
Honestly, I may have served my purpose by getting that thing live on the air, because that was incredible. So great moment. I hope you have a bunch more great moments, and keep me posted on all the fun you're having. Thanks, guys.
I think we're all standing around expecting one of these things to pop now that we're on live with you again, but it doesn't seem to be happening. But thank you, Brad, for keeping us entertained out here on the ice.
All right. Appreciate it. Thank you for entertaining the world from the ice. Thanks, Ray, Ben, the rest of you.
Guys.
All right. We'll see you. All right. That'll do it for the show. But my favorite part of the show is ending the show so that I can go watch that part of the video, because I think it was incredible. I hope it was as good as I think it was. I'll be back with you on Monday. Thanks to Scott Wilson. Thanks to all the guys on the ice. Thanks to everyone for listening and participating in the chat, liking, sharing, attending Brain Vault Episode 3 this Tuesday. Go to thecasbuffalo.com for your tickets. And we still got the buy one, get one thing running. You won't see it immediately. It's not advertised there. But I'm just telling you. You go to thecasbuffalo.com. You buy tickets for this coming show. And you will, probably right after that show ends, receive an email for free tickets for an upcoming show for the number of tickets you bought. So it is a buy one, get one thing. We just aren't talking about it in that way. But that's what's up. All right, thanks. I'm going to leave without much further ado. There's not going to be any music after the show today. We're going to play the outro thing and say goodbye. So thank you. Episode 260 in the books. See ya.
I have a turkey sandwich.
We're going to go around the corner. I think you should come with us. This is a great place.
Okay.
We brought you a shirt.
Will you get out of here? Will you get out of here? Will you? Now, will you go to lunch? Go to lunch. Will you go to lunch?